Welcome to Alley Chats. Today I have artist Tom Kelly with me. If you guys could see what's actually going on here at my site here, I actually have a couple of Tom's pieces up on the wall. I think they're fantastic. I just love your art, Tom. So I'm really excited to have you on, and I hope that the audience gets as excited and wants to have a little bit of your artwork on their walls too. So Tom, tell us about yourself.
I'm a Chicago-based comic book artist and illustrator. Been living here in downtown Chicago since about 2000. I grew up in Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania. That's where I got my undergraduate degree in graphic design. I got that at Lycoming College in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, home of the Little League World Series.
Something to be proud of.
Well, it's, most places in Pennsylvania, it's just like, oh, okay, it's a hill. So,
it's a hill.
At least this, you can look up and find some geographical thing to point to it.
There you go.
I studied there for 4 years and got a degree in graphic design. And then I worked for 2 years after that, I worked for a commercial printer for a year. And then I worked for a publisher, essentially a rival to the phone books, the Donnelly Directory. They used to do the Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote. That was their mascot. But essentially, it was like the phone book, so I would make phone book ads.
Yeah.
After 2 years, after doing that for a little bit, it wasn't exactly the most creatively fulfilling. So I went to further my education. I went down to the Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD, down in Savannah. And that's where I studied comic books and illustration. I was down there for about three and a half years, finishing up that work and doing the coursework there, while also starting to work freelance, doing illustration for gaming companies and other companies like that. And then about 2000, I moved to Chicago. And I've been living here ever since, working as a freelance comic book artist and illustrator.
There you go. That's a pretty good background there. Now, you don't have, it's coming, but you don't have a specific Tom Kelly comic book yet, right?
No, most of the stuff I've done has been work for hire for other companies. Like I've done stories and artwork for Oh Yeah Comics up in Skokie. I've done, things for them. I've done different books for DC Comics or Image Comics. I've done covers and interior art pieces for Dark Horse Comics and a couple indie people I know, as well as a lot of work for gaming companies, things like Wizards of the Coast, Lego, and stuff like that. Not really ever my own actual physical comic book. I've done a few web comics online. I've done a children's comic and an adventure comic years ago, but nothing actually tangible, nothing physical in print.
Yeah, well, I know you from the art prints you sell in Artist Alley, and they're just so striking. And even though you are working in other people's characters generally, it's not anyone else's style that I'm seeing. You know what I mean? So I really love your use of I guess we'd say shadow and light. Yeah. The way you get so much emotion out of I have a Daredevil piece. I'm a big Daredevil fan that you did. And it's really just an outline of Daredevil standing on top of a building. Yeah, and it says everything to me, man. It just really works. So that's something that I know you for is that. But then I also did see you've branched out. You were doing some other things when we were at the last con together. I saw you doing some other, you had some things that definitely look like they might fit with Aw Yeah a little bit. It was just really cool. So, and we will get to it because you do have a book that will be coming out, but we'll get to that in a minute. Just hold your horses there, Tom. So with this pandemic, everybody's kind of stuck inside right now. The cons are shut down or postponed. And I know this is a big source of connection and I'm sure income for you. Are you supplementing this? Are you doing commissions online at all?
I am taking commissions. I am doing commissions. People can contact me through either Tom Kelly Art on Instagram or through my website, which is basically my DeviantArt site, which is tomkellyart.deviantart.com. All you have to do is message me there, and I can take commissions for my different art styles, whether you want prints or something fun for kids. I really run a whole spectrum because I'm more of a traditionally trained artist, like in the academic sense. So a lot of the things I went to school for were just tools in the toolkit that you add.
Right.
Because, I'm in that weird time period of I was born in 72 and, my parents were older, and the sort of track that I figured I would go into is I would study graphic design and end up working for an ad agency as an in-house art guy, and basically be doing a variety of art jobs, whatever they would be coming across my shelf. So it might be a magazine ad, then it might be a children's book, then it might be a commercial storyboard, and etc. So I really kind of developed a broad skill tool set that I pick and choose for projects.
Sure.
And with children's stuff, usually you want children's things to be friendly, cute, soft, inviting, relatively simple and easy to read. Then when I do my illustration work, like the prints that you've seen, that's more iconic and slicker, and it's simple but very complex at the same time. And that's more geared towards what you might see for an album cover or a magazine or a book cover.
Sure. Yeah. Good description of what you do, because I'd say that's really accurate. Now, I did mention commissions, but you mentioned DeviantArt. You do have quite a catalog on there, and people can order prints from you at any time, correct?
Oh, yeah. I've been on that site since about 2000, and it's still sort of it's an easy site to use, so that's why I like it. And it's a great place to create a page and warehouse your artwork. I can just make subsets. So I have, a folder, an area that's superheroes. I have an area that's just traditional black and white art. I have a section that's just children's art. Yeah. And so you can go through, and there's a lot of stuff in there.
There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah. As opposed to
prolific, Tom.
Yeah, as opposed to my Instagram feed, which I do post on very regularly, but it's not as easy to categorize and navigate to the things you're interested in.
Right. That's more for people to just kind of leaf through and see kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
Your DeviantArt it's an amazing page. There's just a ton of stuff there. And it's cool that people can order it. So great. So do you have a Patreon set up?
I do not have a Patreon set up right now. I'll probably set it up within the next month or two, because it's a necessary thing, and sometimes you just put off stuff. I have an Etsy shop. I've had different blogs and websites. At a certain point, it becomes a real challenge to run and stay on top of everything.
Sure.
So I try to, when I had conventions, it wasn't as problematic because I could meet people, connect with them there, give them my direct contact information, and, kind of go that way. Now, since that environment doesn't exist in the moment, I will be creating a Patreon page probably at the end of this month to be able to, facilitate better with people.
Cool. So when that happens, make sure that you tell me, and we'll add all your social media links into the show notes, but we'll definitely add that. I can add it 2 months from now if we need to.
Okay, cool.
But we'll definitely get that in there because, like I said, I think it's really worth people checking out what you're doing and supporting an artist like you. Patreon and Kickstarter and different crowdfunding sources right now have become so vital to this whole thing. So you have a Kickstarter coming up. Tell me about it.
Oh, yes. My Kickstarter kicks off in July. It's called Foot Fist Frankenstein.
And you're writing and drawing this, correct?
I wrote it and illustrated it. I did have a letterer. I did hire a letterer to actually letter the book for me. That's Marshall Dillon. I've known him. He's he's worked for Marvel and DC. He's a very good professional guy. And I brought him on board just to help me handle some of those chores. But it's pretty much, the main story and art all comes from me. I wrote it, drew it, inked it, colored it.
Tell me about the book.
The book is super fun. It's a combination of all the things I loved as a kid. So growing up, I loved monster movies and monsters, comic books, and kung fu theater. So It's a fusion of all that. It's basically the story of a monster who, after finding peace, after sort of wandering around and finally finding peace and happiness, has that ripped away, and then that leads him down a path of revenge. Sort of like, I like to say, it's like John Wick meets the Hulk a la Kung Fu Theater.
That all sounds good to me, man.
It's easier to do a story yourself if it's things you like to draw and write and are familiar with.
Sure.
And like I said, those, the influences all come from the stuff I grew up with. So it naturally flows out of things that I like to draw, as well as a simple story to tell and relate to people.
So when does this Kickstarter go up?
The Kickstarter kicks off July 1st. It goes live on the 1st of July.
Excellent. So once again, I'll share links into the show notes. And actually, this is an exclusive for this show. It's the first time. We're relaunching a show from our network called Go Fund This. And when Tom's book is going to be kickstarted, we will have Tom on there as well, and we'll ask some different questions. So maybe getting a little more depth on this stuff. So those of you that are interested in what Tom does, definitely stay tuned, pay attention, and watch for Go Fund This to hit, because we will absolutely be featuring Tom in that first week of July. So Tom, with all these cons that are canceling, postponing, being held back, what do you think is the best way for people to support creators at this time?
Probably the best way to support creators is to find out the ways the creators are either taking on commissions or selling their books, and supporting them that way. I know a lot of artists, like you said, have Patreons. Many others actually have their books in digital formats, either through their own sites or on places like Comixology, where you can just go buy and have it, beamed through the internet down to your device. Those are all probably the best ways that we all can support each other in the things that we like. Because really, reach out to creators, look at them on either their Instagram or their websites or their other social networks, see what they're doing, and then, look then and see if you can support them that way.
Cool. So here's a touchy-feely question for you, Tom. This is your dream con. Mm-hmm. Who are you most excited to meet?
Oh, geez. DreamCon.
DreamCon.
Not reality, huh?
And I'm not throwing rules on this. It's a DreamCon. Okay.
Most excited to meet Jack Kirby.
Jack Kirby.
I
think so far
that's who I would want to talk to.
Yeah, I would say so far out of the, what have we done, 25 episodes of this, at least a third of them have been Jack Kirby. That is pretty impressive. Yeah. So you never had a chance to meet him?
No, unfortunately. I did go to smaller shows when I was a kid, but conventions were a slightly different environment. Professionals really didn't travel too much and go to a lot of shows. So by the time I started tabling and doing shows semi-professionally and professionally, Jack Kirby had already passed away. So there was no chance I could ever actually meet him in person.
Yeah.
So, I've been trapped in elevators with Stan Lee about 7 times. So,
yeah.
So, just having awkward eye contact with the man. So a lot of people who, are a lot of creators who are alive, I've actually met and interacted with at shows on some capacity. But Jack, no, could never get him. So I'd love to sit down and, just talk to him and listen to his philosophy on stuff.
Yeah, I have a funny Stan Lee story. I never got to meet him. We were at a convention, and I had Edward with me, who was doing This Week in Geek with us. He was a teenager, and Stan Lee was going to be signing. And I said, you know what? He's getting older. This might be my last chance. Let's go over there. I'm going to meet him. Finally, after all this time, all these conventions, I'm going to go say hi to him. I mean, come on. I had a podcast called Enough Said. You think I like Stan Lee? And so we start walking over, and I can't remember which artist it is, but it was a big Marvel artist. We're walking over, and this guy catches Edward's eye. And Edward starts talking to him just real briefly, like, oh, look, here are my books. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess it'll be the next convention.
Yeah.
And Edward finally turns around and he's like, hey, we should get going. You wanted to meet Stan Lee. And I said, I take my finger and I point and I go, I don't think we're making it over there. And just as I do that, Stan Lee walks within a whisper of my finger. He walks right by me. And I just said, I'm not getting a chance to meet Stan Lee. And he kind of looked like it was like right out of the movies, like, and then he kept walking. And I was like, that was my big chance encounter with Stan Lee. It's not as awkward as being stuck in an elevator with him, but that is my Stan Lee one.
A special experience where you're just like, you and like 4 other artists are all just sort of sitting there, all like, you want to be cool and you want to be respectful to someone because like you're just in the hotel. We're all after the show just going up to our home room,
right?
Like, throw our stuff in our room and then go out to dinner. And we're in there, and it's just like, how do you break the ice? What do you say?
Right.
What can you possibly say that doesn't sound like you're the biggest like nerd in the room? And you just kind of like, elevators. Yeah, it takes forever. What can you do? And then,
you become that.
And he walks out, and they close, and everybody's like, "That was Steve Lee. That was Steve Lee." So.
You become that Saturday Night Live bit where you're like, you remember when you did Spider-Man? That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. And you just like, so you just kind of sit there and just kind of keep cool and
right.
Really awkward silence, and then you're like, that was weird.
Well, I like to think I almost punctured a lung because I had my finger out there and he almost walked into it. And at that age, it could have done him in. I could have been the guy. I could have been his Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
So where else can people check out your work? You said your website. You said Deviantart. What other like social media are you out there on?
Well, I'm on most social media, mostly under my name, Tom Kelly Art. I'm on Tom Kelly Art at Tumblr. I'm on Tom Kelly Art at Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook under Tom Kelly Art. Just look up Tom Kelly Chicago, and my face will come up. My eyes will come up. Other than the website, those are really the main areas right now.
Okay, and then people can reach you through those too, I assume.
Oh yeah, no, I'm reachable on all of the platforms. There's no barrier, dead air, or anything like that.
Very cool. And you don't have a TikTok channel going?
No, I don't have a TikTok or a Twitch stream or a YouTube channel.
None of that, huh?
Well, I mean, like
but you should actually. You know what? Dave Dorman does his live drawing. I fall into that rabbit hole. I'll sit here for 2 hours watching him draw. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I mean, as you can tell by the little, ratchet arm here that I have the mount. I mean, it's coming. It's coming. It's when you had shows, you didn't need to have nearly as big an online presence. So.
Right. Yeah, everybody overnight has to become an internet marketer.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. Please, I encourage everybody, check out Tom's stuff. Order stuff from Tom. I love the stuff I have. I really do. So we will have you back on Go Fund This in July. In the meantime, good luck, stay safe, and everybody, please check Tom's stuff out.
Cool.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/alleychats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.